Hey guys, how's it going? Master Cal here, and today I'm going to be doing the 20th video of my 2021 NFL offseason preview series for the Chicago Bears. So the Bears had an up and down 2020 season. They were able to reach the playoffs, although neither Mitchell Trubisky nor Nick Foles really played all that well. They basically rode into the playoffs thanks to a stout defense and an easy schedule. And then they were able to get hot at the right time, as Trubisky actually played decently well down the stretch, and David Montgomery also had some nice games as they ran on him more. But the Bears were bounced in the wild card round by the New Orleans Saints. And so now the Bears face a situation where Trubisky's now a free agent. Foles has 2 years left on his deal, and so who is their quarterback going to be, among other things? Alright, so their starters by cap space. You got Foles at quarterback, obviously the former Super Bowl MVP with the Eagles, although he hasn't found a whole lot of success elsewhere in his career. Foles is a candidate for the Bears to start at quarterback, but certainly there will be exploring other options. I've seen some rumors saying that the recently released Alex Smith could come over and be an option. The Bears might go aggressive and maybe swing together a trade package for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. They could aim a bit lower and trade for Sam Darnold. I've seen a bunch of different scenarios. And yeah. At running back is going to be Tariq Cohen, 4th rounder in 2017. Cohen's been more of their pass-catching back. He signed an extension at the beginning of the 2020 season, which good timing for him because he wound up suffering a season injury in like week 3 or something. So he's locked up for the next few years. Montgomery is their more running style back, and then Cohen's their more pass catching back. At left tackle is going to be Charles Leno Jr., a former 7th round pick who's been solid but not great at left tackle. Left guard is James Daniels, 2nd round pick in 2018. Daniels unfortunately missed over half the season because of an injury. At center is Cody Whitehair, who's got 4 years left on his current deal. He's pretty good. At right guard is Arlington Hambright because of the free agents they have there. He was a 6th rounder in 2020, but he didn't play all that much as a rookie. Sam Mustipher was actually the one who saw the playing time there. And then at right tackle is Bobby Massey, a guy who wound up losing his starting job mid-season and probably could find himself being released. Wide receiver, you got Anthony Miller, who was also a 2nd rounder in 2018. Miller, however, has underwhelmed. He's had a couple of good games, but for the most part, he's been disappointing. And then neither of their other 2 starting receivers I've listed, Ridley or Wims, those are the 2 largest cap hits they have a receiver, have done much. Ridley has barely played. Wims actually was solid-ish in 2019 and was okay in 2020. Wims did have that really horrible drop in the wildcard game on that trick play. But, yeah. Darnell Mooney, a 5th rounder in 2020 out of Tulane. He actually showed some promise with speed and whatnot, so he's a guy that the Bears will look to have. But wide receiver is definitely a weak point at the moment. At tight end, you got Jimmy Graham, who is definitely a guy that's well past his prime. And the deal he signed with the Bears last year as a free agent was kind of surprising. And we will see if the Bears do release him for cap savings. So that would be an interesting way to end his Bears tenure if he with a one-handed touchdown catch in garbage time, but still. On the defensive side, you got Akeem Hicks. Hicks had a nice bounce-back year after he missed a lot of 2019 due to injury. Defensive tackle is Eddie Goldman. Goldman did not play last year because he opted out. And their other defensive end is Bilal Nichols, 5th rounder in 2018, who had a pretty nice year. Outside linebacker Khalil Mack, who's still one of the premier pass rushers in the game. Middle linebackers Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan. Smith started off the season slow, but he got better as the season went on, and then Trevathan is still playing well. Outside linebacker number 2 is Robert Quinn, who, after having an excellent 2019 season with the Cowboys, signed a big-year contract with the Bears, but unfortunately didn't really live up to it. So that looks like kind of an albatross. Cornerback, Kyle Fuller, first rounder in 2014, who's in the final year of that 4-year deal he signed after being transition tagged by the Bears. He has a pretty big cap hit, though, so I could see the Bears maybe restructuring it or working at an extension. Number 2 corner is Jalen Johnson, second rounder in 2020 out of Utah, who played pretty well, especially seeing as he was coming off of a college injury that cost him a lot of training camp. In the slot is Buster Skrine, former Cleveland Brown, former New York Jet, who is set to enter the 3rd year of a 3-year deal he signed in free agency in 2019. Skrine, however, has reportedly been released. So that means that Kendall Vildor or Duke Shelley would be the next man up to man the slot. Safety, you got Eddie Jackson, 4th rounder in 2018 out of Alabama, who is set to enter the 1st year of his new contract. He signed an extension last January in 2020. And that was coming off of obviously he was like the best safety in the league in 2018, or sorry, 4th round in 2017. 2018 he was the best safety in the NFL, and then he's still been pretty good in 2019 and 2020. And then their number 2 safety by cap hit is going to be Jordan Lucas, former Dolphin, former Chief. He opted out of last season. They don't have any of their special teams players under contract for the moment. Their free agents, Allen Robinson, who is a guy that the Bears might end up franchise tagging, Trubisky, special teamer Cordero Patterson, defensive lineman Roy Robertson Harris, punter Pat O'Donnell, tight end Demetrius Harris, defensive end Mario Edwards Jr., safety Dion Bush, safety Sherrick McManus, outside linebacker Barkevius Mingo, defensive tackle John Jenkins, wide receiver Dwayne Haskins, starting safety Tashawn Gibson, cornerback Artie Burns, who missed all of last season due to injury, Jermaine Ifedi, who started at right guard and right tackle, long snapper Patrick Scales, safety DeAndre Houston Carson, defensive end Brent Urban, kicker Cairo Santos, defensive tackle Dan McCullers, offensive tackle Jason Spriggs, guard Rashad Coward is a restricted free agent, J.P. Holtz is an exclusive rights free agent. They've re-signed him. Wide receiver DeAndre Carter, outside linebacker James Vaughters is an exclusive rights free agent that they've re-signed. Kicker Eddie Pinheiro, who missed all of last season due to injury, is a restricted free agent. Linebacker Josh Woods is an exclusive rights free agent that they've re-signed. Guard Alex Bars, who filled in for the injured Daniels, is an exclusive rights free agent. He's been re-signed. Running back Ryan Nall is an exclusive rights free agent. The Bears have re-signed him. And then cornerback Michael Joseph is an exclusive rights free agent, but he has not to this point been tendered by Chicago. So Chicago is roughly $7 million over the cap right now, and that is taking into account the release of screens. They still have a little bit of work to do. So their roster needs definitely quarterback. It sounds like they want to make a splash in upgrading from Foles at the position, but if they don't, I guess we'll see what they do from there. They'll want to reinforce the offensive line for sure. Wide receiver is a glaring need right now, especially if they don't re-sign Allen Robinson or if they tag and trade him. And then defensively, they'll need a number 2 safety, and I could possibly see them adding maybe a more proven slot corner, but that's really all they have there. So their potential cap casualties: Foles' contract is not cuttable. I don't see them cutting Leno. I think they will cut Massey, given that he did lose his starting job with Jermaine Ifedi outplaying him there. So we'll see if they re-sign Ifedi or if they go somewhere else. I think they'll release Graham and we'll roll more with Cole Kmet. I'm gonna guess they're not gonna release Akeem Hicks. Kyle Fuller would be in that category because of his high cap hit, but he's a good enough player. But I think the Bears will try to extend him instead of cutting him. And then that's really about it. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next 2021 offseason preview video.